What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Writer's Block podcast. My name is Marley. I am the host. Listen, if you're here for the first time, I just want to thank you for being here. If you're here, for the second, third, fourth, however many times, I think this is like the 23rd episode. So if you're here and you're a repeat customer, I also want to say thank you. Definitely want to say thank you to you. It means a whole lot to me that you choose to listen to this pod. So I always want to make sure that I am bringing you guys the most value that I can bring you. And it starts with conversations like this. Well, it starts with my life, and then it goes into conversations like this. And today is no exception. I want to have a good conversation with you. And to start things, I'm going to ask you a question. The question is simple. The question is, what if you could make small changes? What if a small change could make all the difference in unlocking all the potential that you never knew you had? In this episode, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about a small change that I made. And for me, it was taking vitamins. I know, small change. But it made such a big impact in my life. It not only boosted my mood, but it completely reshaped my creativity. It completely reshaped my energy. And to be honest, it reshaped the way I approach music. It made a very big difference. And so I want to get into how that small impact and small impacts that you can make, small changes can make big impacts in our lives. To be honest, I know that we all kind of get into these ruts. We get stuck. We get into these uninspired kind of moments in life, and they suck. To be honest, they really suck. And I think we have a inclination to think that the answer is this huge thing that we're missing. And to be honest, sometimes it's not. I am learning lately that more often than not, it's the small things that actually end up compounding and making a big, big, big mess. So, like I said, for this episode, I want to get into the small things and how we can make big impacts with just changing small things. To do that, though, we got to go back. Of course, I'm a storyteller, so got to tell the story. And this story obviously starts before taking vitamins. It's about like 5-6 months ago and before that. But about 5-6 months ago, I wasn't really taking vitamins. And it's crazy because my mom is a big avid person or avid vitamin person. And she's big on multivitamins. Now, the vitamins that I'm taking now are not multivitamins. We'll get into that in a second. But she's big on multivitamins, and I would take them here and there, just not really consistent at all. But I noticed that I was having trouble. I'll go through a day of non-vitamin use. So for me, I'd wake up 7 o'clock or so, and I'd wake up tired, which red flag already. Like, dog, we just woke up. You shouldn't be sleepy. But I'd wake up kind of tired, which then my day would, kind of progress into this slow burn of sorts, where it's just like hard to pull myself along. Like I felt like I was dragging all day from the jump. So I'm waking up usually late because I'm sleepy. I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can. So usually just waking up, dragging, heading to work. I'd get to work and kind of cruise through the day. Like work is never really an issue for me. When I'm at work, I work. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how I feel or anything else. Like I know what I'm there for. And so I'm gonna do that. But one thing I did notice is that there was just this amount of brain fog, which lent to an unfocused me. I will say that was present through my work days, but still getting through it, right? Like it's work, so I have to. I'd get home. Also, by the way, not eating breakfast. That was another thing. I would usually wake up late, not eat breakfast, go to work, blah, blah, blah. I'd get home, and to be honest, I'd probably grab some food sometimes. a lot of my days were not eating. Like I wasn't eating well at all. Um, but I'd get home, I eat a little bit sometimes, and then I'd have like all these things that I wanted to do. Like while I'm at work, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna, get the podcast going, or I'm gonna work on a song or whatever. Like I had all these ideas, but the motivation really wasn't there. And I definitely noticed that. And it was weird and frustrating to me because the motivation was there to get work done at work. Like working for someone else, the motivation was not a problem. And maybe it's not motivation at that point. Maybe it's just like, all right, you got to do it, so you do it. You know what I mean? But getting home, I didn't have the motivation to be in a creative mode for myself, for the things that I wanted to do, which kind of ended up leading to this, inconsistency in my creativity. I would, get home and have all these ideas of what I was gonna do. I'd sit down and watch Netflix and be comfortable. Sometimes, every now and again, I'd get up and go ahead and do a podcast, or I'd get up and go ahead and do, write a song or something like that. But it was few and far between. Like I said, it was inconsistent. The motivation was not consistent at all. It was very mood dependent. So if I wasn't feeling good, which most of the time I wasn't, then I was not making anything. So I noticed these things, and you guys already know I have ADHD, and so I'm thinking, and I also have cyclothymia. So I'm thinking it's that, and I'm like, well, maybe I just need to up my meds. Like maybe it's not working. And I would even tell my psychiatrist, like, bro, I'm at work and I'm getting things done. I'm rocking and rolling. And then I get home and I have no more energy. So what I need is to take this 40 XR and go up to like a 50. Can we do that? Because by the time, or maybe I need an IR of Adderall. So when I get home, I can just pop that and get the stuff done that I need to get done while I'm home. Shout out to my psychiatrist, because she's a very like holistic type approach person first. And she was like, okay, well, before we do that, let's go ahead and get some blood work done. And so we get the blood work done. And we find out that one of the big things was cholesterol. My cholesterol is high, my cholesterol is always high. It's largely genetic. At least that's what we think, because it's always been high. But that, along with my ferrin levels, my triglycerides, my LDL, HDL, like all those different things in conjunction or whatever together, painted a different picture for her. And what she expressed to me was that maybe this wasn't a food thing, and perhaps it is a inflammation thing. So that leads to, are you stressed? Are you anxious? Are you eating omega-6s and not omega-3s? Which I was all of those things. So, upon finding that out, along with the fact that, bro, what is it, DHT, something like this, a testosterone thing, not low, but not optimal. It was a couple other levels that were just not optimal either. And I think iron might have been one, but vitamin D was definitely low. So that, like I said, painted a picture for her. And she was like, listen, before we get the medicine thing happening, like, let's figure out your vitamin situation, because I'm seeing something here that I think needs to be addressed. So she's like, okay, what I want you to do, which, first of all, a little tidbit for you guys, eggs, big deal apparently. She was like, eggs get a bad rep, but they are huge in vitamin B, like the B complex. So like all the Bs. So like even now I start out my day with 2 eggs at least. But anyway, she was like, I want to get you on, vitamin B complex, or you can, start doing eggs. Get off the omega-6s, go to omega-3s. So I replaced like canola oil, vegetable oil, any seed oils with like avocado oil, olive oil. She was like, I want you to get D3, vitamin D3. With the vitamin D3, you need vitamin K2, as well as, I want to say it was magnesium, or zinc. It was one of those. I have both of them and I use both of them, but one of those along with K2 help the absorption of vitamin D3. So, um, in addition to that, omega 3 pills is another one that I started taking. So now I'm taking all of these pills, right? All these vitamins. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I think maybe the first week, a little bit after the first week, I started noticing the changes. Now, mind you, she put me on a dose of 10,000 IU for the vitamin D3 for the first week. I call it a rescue dose because she made mention of the fact that after this initial week, we would go down to a maintenance dose of 5,000 IU. So I was like, oh, this is like a rescue dose. And so I'm popping the rescue dose of the vitamin D3 for the first week, a little bit after the first week, and I'm taking the other pills as well. A little bit after the first week, I start noticing changes. The main change being clarity of mind, as well as just an elevated mood. My mood was like unreal. Like I said, I have cyclothymia, so part of that is kind of like a mild mania. And I thought that's what was happening. I'm like, dog, I think I'm having a manic episode or something. But no, it wasn't. The thing that was happening was I was taking magnesium and some other. So the place where I got my vitamins from, they gave me a gift, and the gift for the first 5 days was this. They call it a sleep pack, and it has magnesium and like 2 other things in it. I can't remember what they're called, but I will definitely list them. But in that sleep pack was magnesium. Those other pills, you take them at nighttime, and bro, it knocked me out. Like I was out. And not only was I out like in 20 minutes and sleeping, but I would sleep peacefully through the night. And I didn't realize how bad I was sleeping before until I started sleeping well at that point. I didn't wake up at all. I slept deep. Like that's the only way I can describe it. I was getting deep sleep. And I woke up feeling refreshed. So that was a huge step into the right direction. Now I don't continue taking the sleep pack, but I do take magnesium at night, and it does help me sleep. Pretty much in the same way. I think I do notice a little bit of a difference with the sleep pack. I think the sleep pack does help a bit more, but magnesium helps just as much. But yeah, I noticed that I was getting restful sleep. That contributed to the mood, I think. Along with that restful sleep and the mood, I was having like clarity of mind. I was able to focus at work. And even when I was off of work, it was just, I was clear. I was very clear. And not only that, but it trickled down into the rest of my like life, right? From that point, I was like, I want to do this gym thing. Like I'm feeling good. So like, let me continue feeling like, let me figure out what it is that I need to continue doing to feel good. So I started going to the gym, and I've been going consistently now. I think I missed one time at the gym. And even that, like normally I'd miss one day at the gym and just off the rails, but nah, like I bounced back. And I'm still going to the gym, drinking more water. I am eating more food. I've gained a little weight. Super excited about that. So in the gym, I hit the sauna, and when I'm in the sauna, I hit the gym 3 days a week, by the way. And so I hit the sauna on those days. And when I'm in the sauna, I go ahead and read a devotion, which is something that I wanted to do, is start reading devotions a bit more. And so to be able to have it stack like that was perfect. Beyond that, I am creating more. Like, yeah, I'm creating more, which is great. But yeah, just the lifestyle of it all. I'm watching what I eat. I've got these like little green smoothies and red smoothies. Getting restful sleep, waking up feeling refreshed. There are times, like I think last week, it was like a few days where I was just like, ugh, I'm not really feeling great. But it's normal. You know what I mean? It's like a normal I'm not feeling great. It's not like a down in the dumps. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited. I am cruising, right? Cruising. And not only that, but to add to all that, my my creativity was like reignited. It took off. And I think what happened was like my mood began to affect my creativity. And I think that makes sense, right? Like if you're happy, if you're content, if you're just you know what I mean? If you're feeling good, you're not anxious, and I wasn't. Like if you're feeling those, and if you're in that type of mood, it's much easier to be creative, right? Like before I was feeling like heavy. Now I feel a little lighter. And it's like, okay, well we can go ahead and create a bit. And it felt true to who I was, which also helped with creativity. And getting into the music of it all, like feeling that way, feeling like I had clarity of emotion, and feeling like I was myself allowed me to paint a picture from a new place, right? Like now I'm writing music where I don't have to, for lack of a better word, pretend maybe. See, I was in a place where, and this is not just 6 months ago, but for a lot of my music career, I don't know why I put that in quotes, but for a lot of my music career, I know why I put it in quotes. Sometimes it doesn't feel like I have a career and it feels weird to say. But for a lot of my music career, um, I have, like traditions and like a ritual, right? Like I get in the studio, have a bottle of Jameson, like you guys have heard the music, JMO, um, and we're drinking and we're talking, and I love that. Like it's great, but it didn't serve me in this part of my life, and I was still trying to do it as like the ritual, right? Um, and I think that because it no longer served me, it didn't feel true to me, and it felt fake, and then now I'm just like forcing this. Not to say that I don't enjoy, my tequila or whatever or whiskey or anything, but to do it in a way that's forceful to try and get like this result from my artistry, that doesn't sit well, you know. Um, so now it feels true. Now I can sit down and just create music from this pure place, and that's how it feels. It feels pure. I haven't felt this good about making music since me and Stephen Bingham were making music in high school. Um, the lyrics, the stories, they come from a better place at this point. It feels way more sustainable. It feels like I am not having to push, not having to force it. It just it's coming out of me now. And so that small change completely, like I said, it completely reignited, it completely reshaped the way that I approach my music. And the main way that I approach my art and my music now is more strategically. I think before I was coming from a place of like random, just whenever my schedule or whenever I felt like it. It didn't even really hinge on my schedule. It was more like when I felt like making music, that's when I would make music. When I felt like doing a podcast, that's when I would do a podcast. Now I kind of have the clarity of thought to be like, okay, Doug, I know you don't want to do this. I know it may not be an opportune time, but that's why we have a schedule. Let's figure the schedule out, and let's sit down and say, okay, well, we know this needs to be out by, Wednesday. Let's do it on Friday. Let's start there so it's out next Wednesday. And I'm still working on it. I'm still getting it together, but it just feels a lot better. Like I feel like I can actually accomplish these things. And small change, man. Small change of vitamins. I think it really helped. So my question to you, like I said in the beginning, is can a small change make a huge impact? And I think it can. So my question now is, what small changes can you make that would make a huge impact for you? And it may not be like that you're considering yourself a creative, right? Like you may not be somebody who's making music. You might be a mom, or you might be a dad, or I don't know, whoever you are out there, there are still small changes that you can make, and they may not be vitamins. I realize that. But I'd venture to say that you don't get to where you are by making big things happen, right? Like I didn't get into this by the way, I know you guys just heard my dog hit the door. But she jumps up on the door. It's crazy. There she goes again. But you don't get to where you are one chunk at a time. It's small choices that get you to where you are. And so I think that there's a way out of the rut or of the place where you feel stuck. And I think that happens by digging yourself out little bits at a time. So many times we get caught up on the fact that I have this huge problem or this huge obstacle, and we want to just take the huge obstacle and throw it out of the way, and we may not be strong enough. I'm not strong enough. I wasn't strong enough. But what I am strong enough to do is break that obstacle down into smaller pieces and throw them out. And eventually, you get the obstacle out of the way. So, what are the small things that you can do today, tomorrow, the next day? Small, sustainable things that will eventually get you out of the rut. It will eventually get you unstuck. Those are the things you got to think about, because creativity is not just a gift. It is something that needs to be nurtured. It really does. It is something that needs to be grown, and you can't just nurture it all at once. You know what I mean? It's every day. It's day in, day out. It's constant. And if you don't have, going back to health and vitamins, if you don't have the health or the mindset to do that every single day, then you won't make it. And I think that's what I'm getting at with this episode is just, bro, bite-sized chunks. My mom always says, like, what's the best way to eat an alligator? One bite at a time. Crazy thing to say, but I hear you, Mom. I get it. But yeah, I think that's a good starting place for most people. So, like I said, if you can look at your issue, your obstacle, your whatever, break it down into small pieces, because that's what this is about. Break it down into small pieces. Those are your small changes. Take those small changes, make those small changes, and eventually that's going to make a big impact in your life. I promise you. So yeah, for me, it was vitamins, of course, sure. And I don't know what it is for you. It may not be vitamins, but I can guarantee you, everybody has a small thing that they can do to make that big impact. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope this is 30 minutes of value, because bro, it really changed me, man. It really did. I am on top of the world right now. So, and I recognize that I got a while to go, but I also feel like so resilient. And I just know that I have like the mental fortitude and the physical fortitude to just keep going. And, it's for me, it was because of vitamins. And by the way, if you're interested to know what vitamins I'm taking specifically, I will post them. And you can go ahead and order them or check them out or whatever. I will definitely not forget to do that for you guys. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. By the way, I'm thinking about changing the podcast name. So if I do, I'll let you guys know though. So don't worry, you'll find it still. But yeah, that's it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of The Writer's Block. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, make small changes. Make small changes, bro. You can do it. I believe in you. Peace.